Hey everyone, Don with Breja ToneWorks, and thanks for watching. Today's video is how to wire up a Stratocaster for a 9-way mod. This mod, basically, it gives you 9 unique pickup combinations, but through the combination of a 5-way switch along with an on-on-on toggle switch, you have a total of 15 different positions to play with. And because so many of you like the Dual Capacitor Mod that I have out here, I've also included that. So not only are we getting a 9-way wiring scheme, we're also getting the Dual Capacitor Mod. So let's get started. Looking over the components, pretty simple. We've got our standard pickups, we've got a single volume, 2 tone controls, 5-way switch, output jack, but most importantly, we need an on-on-on toggle switch. So we can't use a standard push button or just a lever switch. We need an on-on-on, so you need to source that type of switch out specifically. To help understand the wiring scheme, I identify the soldering points. So on the on-on-on switch, on the left side we have S1, 2, and 3. On the right side, S4, 5, and 6. On our pots, we go L1, 2, and 3. L2 is obviously always in the center. Keep this configuration in mind. If you invert the pot, I will keep the same order of L1, 2, and 3. Our 5-way switch is pretty simple. Left side A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right side B, 1, 2, 3, 4. As always, we start with grounding. Keep in mind that on the volume pot, lug L3 is always going to be grounded, so we make sure that that is grounded to the top of the pot. We take jumper wires to the top of each of the pots. I always use the volume pot as my grounding point, central grounding point. You can use whichever one you want, just make sure you have a central grounding point. Depending on the type of on-on-on switch that you have, you may need to ground the metal portion of it. If it's a plastic type switch, you typically do not have to ground that. For our output jack, we're going to take a wire from L2 of our volume pot to the tip portion of the output jack, and obviously we're going to ground from the top of our star grounding point, which is the top of the volume pot, to the ring portion of the output jack. As I mentioned, this is actually incorporating my dual capacitor mod, so each of the tone pots is going to have its own individual capacitor. Again, you can pick out whichever type you'd like and whatever value is most conducive to the type of sound that you want. For both tone pots, you are going to connect one end of the capacitor to lug L3, the other to ground to the top of that pot. Starting with our neck pickup, we will take the ground wire and we will connect that to S5 of our on-on-on switch, and the hot wire is going to go to A3 of our 5-way switch. For our middle pickup, the ground wire goes to our central grounding point on top of the volume pot. The hot is going to go to A2 of the 5-way switch. The bridge pickup's ground goes to our central point again on top of the volume pot, while the hot goes to A1 of the 5-way switch. Now my dual capacitor mod has the first tone controller, the middle one, controlling the neck and the middle pickup. In order to do this, we need to take a jumper from B3 to B4 on the 5-way switch, and then run a wire from B4 to L2 of the middle tone pot. The bridge gets its own individual tone control as well, so we will take a wire from B2 of the 5-way switch to L2 of the bottom tone control. Now lastly, we need to wire up the two switches together. So we take a wire from A1 on the 5-way switch to S6 on the triple on. You can see that here in kind of the turquoise. A3 goes to S1 of the triple on switch. Then we have a jumper from A4 to B1. So moving from the left side of the 5-way switch over to the right side, we need a jumper from A4 to B1. And then we run a wire from B1 to L1 of the volume pot. Lastly, we take a wire from B2 on the 5-way, and that goes to S2 on the triple on switch. So there we go, we are done. We now have a Strat that's wired for 9 unique pickup combinations when used in conjunction with a 5-way and a triple on switch. So let's take a look at what these configurations are. If you have the triple on switch set in the center, It is a standard Strat configuration when using the 5-way switch. You will have bridge, bridge middle, middle, middle neck, neck. No different than a standard Strat. Of course, you're using it with a dual cap mod. If the triple on switch is in the up position, using the 5-way, you can see you've got bridge, bridge middle in parallel, middle, neck bridge in series with the middle in parallel, and then the neck and bridge in series. With that triple on switch in the down position, you'll have neck and bridge in parallel, bridge, middle, neck parallel, middle alone, middle neck in parallel, and finally neck. So again, depending on where you have that triple on switch, you're going to have your different myriad of combinations. Right in the center, standard Strat configuration for that 5-way. Move the switch up, you get a different type of sound for a couple of the positions. Same thing when you move it in the down position. Again, the total is you will have 9 unique combinations, but it's spread across a total of 15 switch positions. So for those of you who were not satisfied with the standard 5-way, the 7-way mod that I have out there, here's another one for you to try. It's a 9-way mod, dual cap included. Very interesting pickup combinations for those of you who like that kind of stuff. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. You can write me at brejatoneworks@gmail.com. And remember, tone, it's not just a knob, it's sound advice. Thanks.